It's guns, knives, and watches, man. If we gonna go crazy, let's go balls out crazy with that there Maxpedition type thing, man. And this is where we're at with that there Maxpedition type pack. This is the Vulture 2. Now, the Vulture 2, of course, has been made for quite many years, and I realized in the last video there's a lot of things I didn't cover because question came up. Buy one, get one free where? Well, can't do it anymore. I bought this directly from Maxpedition, buy one, get one free. And if you were on the Maxpedition's mailing list, you would have got the mailer. That's one of the things, that any of the gear that you wish to buy and wish to get it, you know, of course, the retailer is typically, or the, not the retailer, but the manufacturer is typically going to sell it at full retail. They do have deals, and that's why I'm on Maxpedition's mailing list, and have always stayed on Maxpedition's mailing list. Now, everything that you see here was bought buy one, get one free. They were bought at different times, though. And to make this pack actually usable, because of maybe the lack of organization, the one thing that I found really useful last time I had one, and this was probably 5-6 years ago, I think I had the giveaway where I gave one away, oh, a long time ago, and somebody else would have to comment, not me. And I gave away a bunch of stuff, but I kept the packs. This pack's about 9 inches by 6 inches, and of course it's just about 1 inch and something thick, okay? About 1 3/4 inches, something like that, along the gusset. And of course, it just straps onto the molly there. This thing makes this pack quite usable for me, because number one, you don't want anything that's really thick hanging off of it. You want it to be pretty tight to it, because any weight you're going to put in this is going to be quite a distance from your body, from here to here, and that's going to be working against your center of gravity. And I particularly use this, and you can use this for whatever you want. This is just a standard pocket, and it has really no organization on the inside other than a mesh pocket. But I use this for my tools, and I pick my stuff. Of course, this was already in it. This is the Buck Matt Will Go knife. My Baco Laplander saw, which a lot of people have gone over to the silky saws, but I still really love these, just because of their size and everything else. And then, you know, I've got some 750 paracord, and I didn't say that wrong. That is the heavier weight paracord. And I've got some stakes. And typically these stakes, like this set of stakes I haven't used, but you know, that's just the way it is. But I've got my cord, I've got the other stuff. So I have basic tools, and then we have a mesh divider in there. But that makes this pack a little more usable, a little more accessible, this, that, or the other. Of course, I still have my extra large roly-poly, and I didn't get into why I have it mounted the way I do. I have it mounted as low as I possibly can on the pack, the lowest sets of webbing. Now, the reason that is because I can reach back and actually put stuff in it. Once I saw someone with a video, because I was just looking at people's videos on this pack, and they had it connected up through here, up through the top, because there's a piece of plastic kit thing here which I took off. There's also, of course, this is the large roly-poly, so it is extremely large, but when you're collecting debris and stuff, you need something that's rather large. I also took the leg strap off of it, because it's, believe it or not, just comes down a few inches below the pack, and that's even on the lowest setting. And I would always recommend, if you're going to have something for collecting debris or something like that, try to let's see if I can get it folded back in here on that there tap camera, man. But not having that leg strap really makes it a lot easier to mess with. And then that plastic piece I'm not going to use, so what the hell does it matter? If I wanted to clip it into something, I could clip it into this peener and it would go through that. So what's the piece of plastic really good for? Another thing that I really have to have on this pack, just due to its size, is why I added these 2 additional pockets. And you can see these were from that previous buy one get one free from Maxpedition. Just a simple pocket. And how big is this one? This one is, looks like about 6 inches by 4 inches or something like that. And basically just have it laced in through there like that also. The importance of this, number one, is to give you just an extra organizing pocket and to make things a little more usable. And I always put this on my weak side. Of course, I've got my headlamp, and of course this is a Surefire with the red lens cap on it, just in case I want to go a little, not lose my night vision quite as quickly. And then I've got, of course, my 8-power magnifier that has a reticle, and you always know where the reticle is because this is down. Of course, this is modified. This is from who the hell made this? Starts with a V. Anyway, whoever they are. It's not Vickers. It's yeah, whatever. I might annotate it. Probably won't. But you know, that's a pretty good 30, looks like 32, 35 millimeter objective, 8-power magnification, reticle. Of course, I flip it down because I wear glasses all the time, and then took all the armor coating off of it, and then put my own lanyard on it, and then ground the pocket clip off of it. And this gets it down to a small enough package. Of course, I wrapped duct tape around the outside of it, not because I need extra duct tape, but just to kind of protect this, because I took the armor coating off of it. Let me see if I can figure out exactly who manufactured that thing relatively quickly. Probably can't. No, not gonna happen. Anyway, it really doesn't matter. You can go back and look at some of my other videos, especially I have some on actually just modifying this thing. Another thing that, of course, I found usable, and the way in which I mounted this, I also mounted everything basically as low as I possibly could, but I also didn't mount them on the first row of webbing. And you can see that on this side also. So I actually chose the back 2 loops. And that was just to keep things away from my arm as much as possible. I know it's just you know, just a very small distance back, but anything that keeps irritation down out in the field matters. Now, am I using this outside pocket? No. But it's there. One other thing, when you're trying to put a pack together like this, you can actually put rain covers over it. If the fact that it's a civilian type tactical looking pack bothers you, because this is definitely not a military pack, then you know what I did was I put Maxpedition hard use gear on the outside, just so that somebody who possibly didn't know what the hell it was wouldn't jump to some weird conclusion. Oh, it's for expedition use. Yeah, it's for hard use, this, that, or the other, which is, I guess, where this company started from. I don't know. So, of course, all the stuff's made in Taiwan, and the guy that actually designs it and owns the company is Oriental, which is fine. I'm not, don't care. One of the things that you might ought to think about, though, is when you're making a more tactical pack like this, is to keep your strong side on your belt empty. and maybe switch from this knife, which is a Benchmade Osborne 940 S30V. You might switch to the Siebert designed, since everybody in my family really likes this axis lock, and I know that axis springs do fail, but you can get this one, which is the Adamas. You know, you might make choices like that. I'm not going to, just because this fits everybody's hands a lot better. One other thing that you might ought to think about when messing with something like this is, of course, the number of people. And of course I've got my big pot in here. But when you switch to something like this, since I'm not carrying my titanium canteen because I just have a holder for a round canteen, a titanium traditional shaped canteen, you might ought to add things like a titanium cup. I took my plastic cup out of this pack because this pack is not going to be for going and staying in hotels with the family, this, that, or the other. Of course, I added the Nalgene container to this one. Why? Because it has a wider base, and since this is for wilderness use, and the fact that the top is actually lanyard on it, and you can actually use it for collecting water just by, you know, bending down into a stream, holding it by the actual cap, and letting it fill up, and then pulling it back up out. That's an advantage to this type. Also, the thicker stainless steel actually matters, but the majority of the reason I have this one is because of the effectively wider base. The diameter, of course, of the bottle is the same, but where that radius is and how sharp it is sharper on this one, which gives it a wider effective base. And of course, I've got my lid in here for my Esbit pot. And of course, people on my Esbit pot video have given me hell over the fact that I kept, and my whole deal was to keep the thicker one and send the thinner one back. Well, a lot of people, if you watch their stuff, thin titanium will warp on you. So you want your titanium to be thick, okay? And of course, I have mine marked 16 fluid ounces, or 2 cups, is right there at that divot. I don't know if you can see that. And you can see the divot from the inside as you're holding it with a right hand. Which I know I'm left-handed, but everybody else that will be using this is right-handed. And you can put other marks in it. That's just up to you. But, and this thing only weighs 1.5 ounces, heavier than the plastic cup that I got from Walmart, and I have in the other pack for doing microwaving and this, that, or the other. So it's not a bad deal. Just make sure if you're going to use a titanium cup and want to be able to put it on a fire, make sure it's thick titanium. I mean, can I crush it? Yeah, but it would be, you know, it's very, I'm gripping that pretty hard, and I've got pretty good size forearms from climbing, of course. Anyway, that's some things to think about. Other than the fact that you look nuttier than hell with this pack, because I don't exactly know. It works. It works the way I have it outfitted. But the truth of the matter is, it's still a civilian pack that's has a paramilitary appearance. And I just, I know there's a market for that, but you know, how are you going to be perceived? How are you going to be this, that, or the other? Because I hate to sit there and say this, in a situation where I'm having to basically profile individuals, and I have to profile them very quickly based on possibly what they're carrying, their clothing, their this, that, or the other, I would judge someone that had this backpack differently, maybe, than I would judge somebody else. And everybody can sit there and go, well, that's, that's bias. That's this, there's that, and there's da 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 da, and I might put my string in here. Yeah, it is, but that's the brakes too. And you have to take that into consideration whenever you do anything. That's why people go, well, I watched some guy's video and he goes, well, 10 years ago, if you had a pack with Molly on it, you would be judged a certain way. Well, I hate to sit there and say this. When I go out and I see people with these types of packs or this, that, or the other, a certain type of dress, I judge them very easily. And I can go down through there, this, that, or the other. And if you were in a situation where there is a domestic terrorist event and you had to basically profile a bunch of individuals very quickly, or pick people to actually talk to, you know, as people go, stop and frisk, baby. You know, there are reasons people choose people to stop and frisk and go through that stuff and this, that, or the other, and go, well, I wouldn't comply with anything like that. Well, you will comply when there's a gun in your face. Anyway, this is Guns, Knives, and Watches, and just some kind of going back through the pack, working on it, and putting some more stuff on it and making it work more for the way this pack basically has to operate. Maybe not so much for what my MAP 3500s, which are more of a lower profile. But if you're going to have a higher profile and you're going to look like you're batshit crazy, you might as well have something that actually operates. And it's a great pack. It's very durable, and Maxpedition, as I said, has these buy one get one free deals every so often. They do it on different colors. They do it on different stuff depending on what they have in inventory and they need to liquidate. Like I said, one year I got these. This year I got this. And get on the mailing list. I'm going to, of course, clean the lenses now on this because this hadn't been cleaned in a while. And keep working on it. But this is Guns, Knives, and Watches, and kind of a second go-over of this batshit crazy bag. But it sells well, it has a market, and it's usable, it's functional. And even though it's small, if you have, like I had these packs, and I said I bought all this stuff at half price, you know, it's worth it. Would I go out and pay $150 for the pack and then pay $30 for this or $40 for that, or, you know, whatever, however much any of this stuff costs? No. But as an opportunistic buy, and just a second opportunity to go through this pack years later, you know, was it worth it? Yeah, it was. This is Guns, Knives, and Watches with the Maxpedition Vulture 2, roly-poly, you know, bags, this, there, the other, da 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 da. Take your pick. Have a good one.